Hello, citizens of Lynchburg, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how do we know what we think we know? So, how do we know what we think we know? Aren't we always, just by definition, standing on different sides of the elephant? So, we really do want to try to understand each other, but it's hard to do when you're coming from a place of moral superiority. So, the Chinese have a derogatory term for Western liberals. They call liberals Baizuo. And what that means is this is an individual who um, thinks that they have a great understanding of the world and they have a superior moral system which they want to impose on the rest of the world. But the Chinese see liberals or bourgeois as ignorant, arrogant Westerners who pity the rest of the world and think they are saviors. So, why are we talking about this? Well, the liberal ideology has been promulgated in this country for decades, coming from the university systems primarily and going into mainstream media, so that our media now is very selective. And so it is socially constructing reality. But that reality is basically the reality of Baishwa. And you're missing out on a lot of information. Witness this headline from the New York Times after the Ayatollah Khomeini was assassinated. They wrote, "Hardline cleric made Iran a regional power, dies at 86." Seriously? That was not even true. He didn't die, he was assassinated. He didn't make Iran a regional power. If you want good journalism, you're going to have to look harder than the New York Times and the LA Times and the New Yorker and Vanity Fair. You're going to have to go to some other sources like Substack, the Free Press. You're going to have to start doing some more reading because the facts are being kept away from you. So, Promethean Updates, Victor David Hansen, Substack, those are all great sources of information. And it's gonna, it takes a while. I miss the good old days when I could just read Vanity Fair and Vogue magazine and feel like I knew enough about world politics. But I didn't. And it it is worth the effort. So you're being lied to with this democratic redistricting. It's not to restore fairness. It's to create a Congress that will basically thwart everything Donald Trump is going to try to do for the next 2 years. But he's been doing some really great things, only you don't know about them. So this is just a quick list of some of the things that Donald Trump has done since he's been reelected. And I'm not going to go over it. You can read them yourself. But the important thing is that you are being lied to. And if you're still in that woke ideology, you need to find another way to feel morally superior. This is way too easy. You're going to actually have to go out and do something, like maybe volunteer or take in a foster child or invite some refugees to live in your house. Um, you're going to have to put some effort into it. You can't just coast on your laurels any longer. So, I guess to answer the original question, how do we know what we think we know? Well, if you're standing in front of an elephant, you really do need to walk around and see all the sides of the elephant in order to understand the elephant. So, similarly, if you really want to understand what's going on in the country, don't just sit in front of CNN and MSNBC. You're going to have to read journalists from all around the world and deep, difficult political economic stuff and historical stuff. It's not easy, but it is easy to feel morally superior by just sitting in front of mainstream media and saying a couple things a day at the checkout line about how awful Trump is and how could anyone stand that person and having your righteous indignation and so on and so forth and all the virtue signaling. And but it's not honest, and I really 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 do think you know that it is not honest. Bye for now.